M3000.
That's what she said.
So I was browsing through Amazon for a 49-inch 4K HDR Smart TV under £400, perfectly reasonable set of rather specific requirements, when I stumbled across this beauty. Truth be told, it was actually the only 49-inch 4K HDR Smart TV under £400 available. So what's it like then? The best budget 4K HDR Smart TV or a £379 waste of time and money? Well, let's find out. Let's first talk about the design of this thing. As you can see, it's a good looking TV. While not exactly the slickest TV I've ever seen, it's not exactly dull either. I think it strikes a nice balance between striking and boring. From its thin bezels to its small and non-intrusive stance, it just blends into the background, leaving your focus squarely on the picture. It's not the slimmest TV you've ever seen, but it's not exactly a CRT either. Personally, I prefer them thick, just like I like my bread. It just needs larger speakers for better audio. Speaking of audio, this thing actually sounds pretty good. But if you ask me, I would go with a sound system like I have. I'm using these Logitech Z533s, which are pretty good. More on that later. The remote control it comes with is nothing special. It's pretty generic. Quite simple. No trackpad here, no keyboard here, no fancy motion control things here. But it's functional. It has some action buttons on the bottom for Netflix, YouTube, and whatever that is. I'm pretty sure no one in the UK uses this. But I'm pretty sure the American version of this has the Amazon video button on it. But for some reason the UK button, the UK remote doesn't have that. But you can live with that, it's not a big deal. Oh yeah, functional remote. Alright, let's talk I/O now. The I/O consists of two HDMI 1.4 ports capable of 1080p at 60Hz and 4K at 30Hz, and two HDMI 2.0 ports capable of 4K at 60Hz and also HDR. There's also composite SCART 3.5mm jack for audio out, an Ethernet port, optical out, two USB 2.0s and one USB 3.0. With the I/O covered, we can move on to the main attraction here, that 49-inch 4K screen. It is a thing of beauty. It is the screen to behold. I seriously doubt any other TV in this price range will come close. When set up right, the color is amazing. Blacks are deep, not quite inky black deep, but as semi-matte screen though, it is not bad at all. Whites are very bright and very white. As white as I've seen them on any screen, to be honest. But the thing is though, the viewing angles take a bit of a hit when you go a bit off center. It's not too bad, but you can tell the white sort of goldish yellowish color when you go off center. But you probably won't notice it. Just nitpicking here really. The upscaling is pretty good. 4K upscaling works quite well the further away you are from the screen, but if you're like right up to the screen like I am, you can tell it's not really 4K. The best way of putting it. But if you take a bit of a step back, it looks great. 1080p content also looks great on this screen. 1080p looks almost native to this screen, and that's a very good thing, because your computer may not be able to put out 4K like mine. So So if you set it to 1080p, it's gonna look quite alright on the screen. It will look quite good on the screen, even when you're up close. And that's a very good thing. It has to be said that there is, I hesitate to call it light bleed, but there's sort of a little bit of light bleed towards the bottom of the screen, and you can tell when the screen is black. So that means you probably won't be telling this. You probably won't be able to tell that there's a slight light bleed pretty much 90% of the time, since you will not be watching a black screen 90% of the time. The screen is very bright. If you turn the brightness all the way up, not on the picture settings, on the backlight settings, if you turn the backlight all the way up, it gets very bright, very bright. So bright, in fact, I am pretty sure vampires would rather take their chances outside in the sun. I mean, literally. I can't remember the last time I actually used the light in my room at night since I got this TV. That's how bright it is. I'm not one for hyperbole. The brightness of this thing means that during the daytime, you can still see what's on the screen, no matter how bright it gets. This is a very good thing. Because nothing is more annoying than not being able to see the screen when you're trying to watch something. Let's move on to the UI. As a smart TV, this thing, well, you want it to work because you want to get to your apps quickly, you want it to be smooth like on your phone, and for the most part I would say this thing is smooth, but there are some elements of the UI that are not quite so smooth. It's like the frame rate drops. I'm not sure what that's about. Basically, when you're using things like the Amazon Video app, navigating through the UI seems a bit sluggish. I don't know how to explain it. It's not slow. It just seems as though the frame rate is kind of low. But when you get into the video, everything's fine. The streaming is beautiful. It's quick. You don't get any buffering. Maybe that's just something to do with my internet speed. Your mileage may vary. But when you're watching videos, it is flawless. It's just when you're navigating through the UI that it gets a bit not so flawless. The strange thing is though, when you're using the Netflix app, is the exact opposite. The Netflix app on this thing is the fastest, the smoothest, the quickest I have ever experienced on any device. That includes my phone. I used to use an LG G-Flex 2. The Netflix on that wasn't as smooth as it is on this TV. On my laptop, Netflix app on Windows 10 is not as smooth as the Netflix app on this TV. On the Xbox, not as smooth as the Netflix app on this TV. I'm not sure what that is about, but the Netflix app on this TV is amazing. And for some reason, it seems to be the only app that is kept in memory. So if you leave the Netflix app, you can return to it almost instantly. You hit the Netflix button, and then in less than a second, it opens up and you can resume from where you left off. It doesn't do this for the other apps, and I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure what that's about. The YouTube app is also pretty good. It's not quite as smooth as the Netflix app, but it is pretty good. It's quick, responsive, but the UI elements can feel a bit slow sometimes, like a lower frame rate. Again, I'm not sure what that's about. This thing also has a web browser, and to be fair, I would rather forget it had a web browser, and that's all I'm going to say about that. It's horrible. So how does it work as a monitor? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's simple really. It's basically the same as every other monitor you've ever used, but bigger. Yeah. An important factor you have to keep in mind is that this thing is capped at 60 Hz. That is the best it will do. So if 60 Hz isn't quite good enough for you, then this thing is not gonna work for you. But if 60 Hz is good enough for you, then this thing will be pretty good for you. As a monitor, it works brilliantly. If your device can support it, and you use the 4K native resolution, it gives you a ridiculous amount of space to work with. I mean, a ridiculous amount. More than you know what to do with. But you have to set it to 100% scaling. And the beauty of this thing is, because of the 49-inch size, it's not too big. Neither is it too small. So when you set it to 100% scaling at 4K native resolution, you can still see all the UI elements. It's just not too small or too big. It's just right. And that's the beauty of this thing. But if, like me, your device cannot quite support 4K or 60 Hz, then you can set it to 1080p. And 1080p looks just fine on this 4K screen. Set to 100% scaling, it's still a reasonable amount of space to work with. It's almost like 2 screens. Yeah, 2 screens. I would say it gives you the same amount of space to work with as 2 screens. No, 2 21-inch screens. I'd say maybe 27-inch. Yeah, it gives you more than enough space to work with, I'd say. And that brings us right along to gaming. Now, like with using this thing as a monitor, with gaming, you've got to ask yourself, is 60 Hz enough for you? If 60 Hz is enough for you, then this will work just fine for you. But if you're part of the PC master race and all you do is FPS competitively, then this thing will not be for you. 60 Hz isn't gonna cut it for those kind of things, I don't think. Yeah, you're gonna have to look elsewhere. But if 60 Hz is enough, then yeah. So for example, if you use consoles, then 60 Hz is gonna be more than enough for you, because your console isn't gonna do more than 60 FPS anyway. So the only thing you have to worry about is the input lag. And in my experience, I don't think the input lag on this thing is an issue. I think it is more than good enough. So yeah, for gaming, casual gaming is what I'm going to call it, it's going to be more than good enough. Or console gaming, should I say. Yeah, this thing is very good. This thing gives you the option to plug in your media through the USB port. But the coolest thing is, it also allows you to stream directly from your Dropbox account. So you can log into your Dropbox account and stream all your content from there. I think that's pretty cool, and I only found that out yesterday. But the pièce de résistance of this TV is by far this. I think I have saved the best feature for last. Check this out. So is this Hisense H49M3000 the best budget 4K HDR Smart TV under £400? Yeah, I think it is by a long shot. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe for more. I haven't decided yet, probably make some more videos or not. Maybe. Alright. See you in the next one. What? It's my room. Get over it.